My backyard didn't end where I stopped mowing the grass. That's where it began. When I was 11, we lived on Mather Air Force Base. Behind our house, a great field stretched for as far as eye could see. A handful of miniature trees broke at the horizon, separating the sky from the plain. Close to the house and down a small hill, a creek meandered its way through that forever field. I was 11, living next to a huge field filled with places to hide and explore, with critters everywhere and a creek. I was in boy heaven. I knew which animals I could pick up and learned quickly those I shouldn't. Frogs and lizards were one thing, birds and snakes something else. I wandered that field as far as I could, as often as I could. Looking out over my domain, most of the time all I could see was the wind blowing the long grass and the occasional bird. Walking through the long grasses, I heard all those creatures I couldn't see, moving and rustling, bounding and running. I've even seen coyote loping through the fields, hunting whatever they could find. Rarely did these animals make it up to the lawns and kept grasses near the homes. All of them had to go to the creek at some time. I don't know how many creatures lived in the fields until I wandered through an area blackened by fire. The dry summers of Sacramento turned the fields into kindling. Acres would burn at a time. I remember walking through the fields after a fire and seeing what was left of those who lived there. Large animals like rabbits and fox, small mice and voles, snakes and lizards, lots of birds, overcome in the swiftness of the deadly blazes. That was summer. Winter is different. What burned in the summer heat grew in the winter wetness. We didn't get much rain, but what rain we did get stayed for the longest time. Fields that look flat from afar aren't flat, they undulate. Since these fields haven't been grazed or plowed for the better part of a century, the dips and depressions collected water in the winter months. At 11, in the 60s, I didn't know what a vernal pool was. It wasn't until years later that I learned that they had a name. Ducks and geese lived in these pools for part of the year. They swam above an abundance of food hidden in the water and grass. Little animals and plants survived the burning hot summers, coming out in force during the wet winters and springs. As the pools dried, the wildflowers bloomed. Every year is different, every pool unique. You can visit these pools anytime. They're in the fields past the Mather Field Golf Course, where the pavement ends.